get right into it. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely transform your approach to the UCAT Verbal Reasoning section. Seriously, if you've been relying on instinctual guessing, kind of just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best, those days end right now. We're building a foolproof, clinical framework that's going to totally change how you tackle true, false, and can't tell questions. Look, let's just acknowledge the frustration right off the bat. It is incredibly common for highly intelligent, well-read pre-med students to tank this specific section. And ironically, you're failing precisely because you're smart. You're used to reading fluidly, making these brilliant little inferences, and relying on your gut to fill in the gaps. But in the UCAT, that exact intelligence is what leads you straight into the traps they've set for you. So to cure this cognitive disease, we've got a structured roadmap for today. We're covering the guessing game trap, defining true, false, and can't tell, learning to drop outside knowledge, identifying 3 deadly traps, and wrapping up with a step-by-step execution strategy. Okay, part 1, the guessing game trap and diagnosing the VR problem. Let's take a quick look at the baseline parameters you're up against. Here is the stark mathematical reality of this test. You've got 44 questions to answer in 22 minutes. You do the math, that leaves you roughly 30 seconds per question. 30 seconds, meaning you absolutely cannot afford to read 300-word passages just for general comprehension, like you're reading a novel. If you try to slowly absorb every detail, you've literally already lost the timing game. You need a fast, targeted approach. Moving to Section 2, defining true, false, and can't tell using uncompromising UKT terms. To fix our mistakes, we have to strip away our preconceived notions real quick. First up is true. Now, in the UCAT universe, true doesn't just mean the statement sounds sensible or that it matches something you read on Wikipedia last week. No. It means you can literally point your finger at explicit evidence in the text that strictly supports or implies the exact statement. If the passage doesn't prove it, you cannot claim it, period. Next is false. False isn't just an incorrect fact or some minor typo. For an answer to be false, the passage actually has to say the exact opposite or meaningfully contradict the claim. Like if the text says a treatment is rarely effective and the statement says it's always effective, boom, that's a clear contradiction. That makes it false. And then we have the trickiest one of the bunch, can't tell. Listen, if a key piece of info is missing, or they suddenly introduce a brand new group or demographic or time frame that isn't in the text, the answer is can't tell. It honestly doesn't matter if the statement is 100% plausible in the real world. If the passage is silent, your answer has to be can't tell. All right, Section 3, drop your outside knowledge and isolating the disease. This is where we pinpoint exactly why your brain is actively working against you. We really have to contrast your natural, flowing, real-world reading habits with the sharp, almost robotic precision required for the UCAT. In real life, when you read an article, you naturally bring in your own biology knowledge, right? You fill in the blanks. But the UCAT? It's a literal passage-only universe. The test makers intentionally pick scientific topics to bait you into using your background knowledge. They want you to make an assumption. Do not take the bait. You have to realize that the UCAT is weaponizing your own intelligence against you. To beat it, you got to adopt the golden rule for the next 22 minutes of your exam. The passage is the only universe that exists. Seriously, treat every passage as if you're an alien who just landed on Earth and you know absolutely nothing except the words printed right in front of you. Moving right along to Section 4, the 3 deadly traps and identifying the pathogens. Let's look at how the test designers actually build these traps. So these pathogens exploit the fact that you're rushing. Trap 1 is dispersion. This is where they take correct info from the passage, but apply it to the totally wrong subject or time frame. Trap 2 is contradiction, where they take a claim from the passage but subtly distort a qualifier. And trap 3 is extreme language, which is honestly the most common one, and definitely the easiest to spot once you know what you're looking for. You've got to relentlessly hunt for extreme language. Words like always, never, all, none, and only. These are absolute quantifiers. Academic passages almost never make 100% absolute claims. So if the text says a treatment is often successful and the option says it's always successful, that extreme language instantly makes it false. Scanning for these words takes like 2 seconds, but it will save you a massive amount of time. Finally, Section 5, Step-by-Step Execution Strategy, Prescribing the Cure. Let's talk about how to actually execute a fail-proof scan without running out of the clock. We're going to use this 4-tier triage system.
Within the very first 5 seconds of reading a question, you have to classify it. Tier 1, you know exactly what to do, solvable in under 20 seconds. Tier 2 means it's solvable but gonna take up to 50 seconds, so flag it and set a strict internal deadline. If it hits Tier 3, high uncertainty, or Tier 4, complete unfamiliarity, just skip it. There's no negative marking on the UCAT, guys. A blank answer is way worse than a guess. Triage gives you a digestible way to manage your anxiety and skip strategically.
For the questions you actually do tackle, please don't read the whole passage. Use this blueprint instead. 1. Read the question stem first. 2. Identify the unique keywords in that stem and scan the passage strictly for those words. 3. Evaluate only that specific sentence or surrounding context. And 4. Make a fast decision. Don't fall into the trap of rereading everything. Trust your first focused scan. Your ultimate mantra for this entire exam must be anchor to the text. I want you to literally imagine pointing your finger at the screen. If you cannot physically point to the exact sentence supporting your true or false answer, then you don't have enough evidence. And what do we do then? We default to can't tell. So, as you gear up for your next practice test, I'll leave you with this final thought. Are you going to continue falling for the curse of knowledge and trusting your everyday instincts? Or are you going to adopt this clinical, passage-only framework? The choice you make here is literally what separates average scores from top decile results. Stop reading, start scanning, and take back control of your time. You've got this.